Update. Am I the a-hole for telling my brother-in-law I will never forgive his daughter, and I have no intention of ever having her near my family? The first part of this story was posted a few days ago. Link in the description. Hi all. Thank you very much for your replies to my previous post. I really appreciate you taking the time to help me with your words, your experiences, and your feedback. Talking to you here has been really therapeutic for me, but also really sad to hear about some of your experiences. I have received many messages from you asking me to update. There's not really much to say. Nothing big happened, but I have talked to my sister and she gave me some updates. Before getting to that, I want to clarify some main aspects that keep coming up. We are all sure that Kelly lied. There is no debate there. No what if. No one has any doubts. Some of you really have a sick mind just like Kelly, so I can understand why you are taking her side. But please try to stop being so gross, even for a little bit. I get that some of you speak from personal experience, but for the love of God, not all deranged teenagers were victims of SA, and most certainly my husband did not SA her. For those who need things to be spelled out because they don't understand otherwise, stop sending me DMs claiming my husband is a predator, telling me I'll regret it when the truth comes out, calling me names for defending my husband, or saying that I'm protecting predators. I will continue ignoring your messages. I will not lower myself to your level, and I will not entertain your delusions. Right now it seems the only predators are you, because otherwise you wouldn't be such sick individuals wishing bad things on people you don't even know. So, I am not willing to forgive Kelly. I am not willing to allow her to apologize. I am not willing to ever have her near my family, meaning my husband and my son. My husband is not willing to do any of these things either. This is a shared decision, and we will never have anything to do with this girl. Stop blaming me for what the rest of my family is doing. I do not command my parents, my sister, Kelly's father, or my nephew. If they cut contact with her, it was their own decision. We just told them our boundaries, but they can do what they want. Now on to the update. As I said, I talked to my sister, and some things are going to happen this week. First of all, Kevin is coming to our place tomorrow and will spend the entire week with us so that my sister and her husband can have time to sort things out. They plan to visit Kelly at her mother's place, sit her down, and tell her what is going to happen. My sister asked Kevin if he wants her to divorce or if he feels unsafe living with her husband. My nephew told her he doesn't want to ruin her marriage. He does not hate Joe, even if he said it a couple of times. He doesn't feel unsafe with him, but he never wants to be near Kelly again. My sister and Joe have started working with a therapist to see if they can salvage their marriage, and it has really helped them. So for those wishing them to divorce, they will not. The therapist explained to Joe that he can still have a relationship with his daughter while keeping his other family too. The only thing needed is for him to be willing to work for it. She also said that divorcing and giving up his own life and happiness is not a solution, because where does it end? He divorces my sister, in a few years gets a new wife, and if Kelly does something again to that new family, is he going to give up everything and start over again? He needs to see himself and Kelly as two different individuals with their own paths in life. They don't need to be tied together to have a parent-child relationship, and he also needs to show his kids that marriages are not jokes. You don't give up the first time something crappy happens. So, they decided to work together on their marriage. They will let Kelly know how things will be from now on, meaning Joe will continue seeing and supporting her, but she will live full-time with her mother. Her mother is on board with this and was part of these discussions. A Redditor suggested that in the future, Kevin can stay at my place if they want to have Kelly over, and I suggested this to my sister. I told her that our house will always be open for Kevin, so we can do that if Kevin is comfortable with it. I don't think he will refuse, since he enjoys spending time with us and his baby cousin, but we need to see how he'll feel about her being in his house. Right now, Kevin is also in therapy because he's been having nightmares and violent outbursts when he hears about Kelly, so this won't be suggested to him anytime soon. The last time he heard about her, he had a panic attack, started crying, and shouted that he hates her and wishes we had never met her. I am confident that with therapy, he will go back to his happy self, but baby steps. He doesn't need to be rushed right now. We are all focused on his well-being and mental health right now, and the summer break will be perfect for him. The girl will also be moved to a different school during this summer. This is for both her and Kevin, so they don't need to see each other at school, and she will avoid being bullied. Her friends, who she told the stories to, went home and told their parents. So now Kelly is forbidden from going to their houses because their parents don't want to risk it. I would like to say I'm surprised, but honestly, I'm not. No sane adults will allow someone like her into their home and risk being accused of things. I'm also somewhat relieved that the adults who are close to her in one way or another are now aware of what's happening, so they can protect themselves and not have to face what we did. So that's pretty much it for now. I think I will keep updating if anything interesting happens. I'm excited to have my nephew here for the week. I'll finally have my partner to game with, since my boomer of a husband is not that much into games. So obviously not as fun as Kevin. I remember being Kelly's age, and some friends told me stories of their exploits. Meanwhile, I didn't even have my first kiss until I was 15. I didn't make anything up because I saw it as a can't-win situation. Be honest, be a prude. Make something up, someone will shame. Probably because I was a bit of a dork. But as an adult thinking back on my friends' stories, I'm sure they weren't all legit. But they still managed to not accuse a member of their extended families of perving. Jesus, if she wanted to make up an accidental story, she could have gone with her walking in on the guy changing, instead of uncle flashed his junkle. Instead, she made herself into someone you need to protect your family from, instead of someone to protect. You're making the only reasonable call. Yeah, even imagining an insecure teenage girl trying to impress her friends, she'd normally make up a consensual encounter. Maybe a holiday fling so it couldn't be fact-checked. She's old enough to know that pretending to be harassed by an adult family member is something they would find horrifying. Her behavior is not normal. And while I completely understand OP's family cutting her off for their own protection, I do hope her mother will get her into therapy to address this, as either she has been exposed to inappropriate behavior from someone else for it to be so normalized to her, or is so comfortable lying about something horrific, which is still a big red flag about her behavior and mental health. I think you are all taking the right steps. Perhaps giving Kevin a lock for his door that can be locked from in and outside would help him to feel more secure and safe in his own home, as his room would really be a safe space for him. Also, if he does stay with you while Kelly is there, he will have the peace of mind of knowing that she can't actually get in, even while he's not there. Not that she would do anything to his room or property, but still for his sake. Keep standing your ground and good luck, OP. Thank you. This is a great idea. I will keep it in mind. I have a feeling more will come out in the following months about Kelly's behavior. It seems Kevin does not feel safe at home and hasn't for a while. He was nervous when he told you, but I don't think it was because he was afraid you'd get mad at him. I think he was afraid of Kelly finding out about it and there being backlash. Sometimes you don't fully express your trauma or fears, or even realize you have them until the situation is out in the open and the source is far away. Next story. Am I the a-hole for calling off my birthday weekend trip because I don't want my stepsister there? My mom married her husband Carl 4 years ago. Carl's daughter Megan, 15 female, came with him. She spends 50% of her time with us, and the other 50% of the time she's with her mom. My dad died 9 years ago, so I live with my mom and Carl all the time. I, 16 male, almost 17, don't like Megan. When we first met, she was okay when I saw her for like an hour, but after we saw them more, it became more unbearable. She was always trying to switch over games I was playing, and she would throw my games if she thought they looked boring or too boyish. One time, she pulled out the plug for the TV and my PS2, my dad's old console that's now mine, while I was playing. The other thing was my mom would give me money and tell me to take her to the store and grab snacks together. She'd insist on getting all the stuff she liked, and she even tried to take the money out of my hands or snatch the stuff out of the cashier's hands when it was something I liked, but she didn't. Then she'd ask me why I didn't like her on the walk home and act like I was denying her getting anything she liked. When we all moved in together, she kept trying to come into my room whenever she wanted to and would stop me from closing the door. One time, I had to physically drag her out of my room and then she wanted to steal one of my games. So I locked up all that stuff so she couldn't get to them. My mom bought me a lock for my closet and my bedroom door for extra security. Once those went up, she invited her friends over and they tried to break into my room and my closet. She used to take food off my plate, but when I started refusing to eat at the table, Carl put a stop to it. Then she'd make a big deal out of it when I didn't sit next to her. When my mom and Carl went on their honeymoon, Megan was with her mom and I was with my paternal grandparents. She whined for months that I'd done fun stuff that week I stayed with my grandparents, to the point that she would call and text me to whine about it when she was at her mom's house, and then got me into trouble because I blocked her. She's still really bad about coming into my room without asking, taking my stuff and breaking it or not bringing it back. She's weird around my friends and tries to flirt with them. She tried to kiss a few of them. Then she tried to make me date her best friend and called me gay slurs when I wouldn't. When she found out I was gay and didn't tell her, she had a meltdown and called herself my sister and said I meant to tell her that stuff. My mom asked me why I ignored her when she was doing that, and I told her all I had to say to Megan was that she isn't my sister, and I didn't think she or Carl would like that. She ruined my favorite hoodie by giving it to her best friend, and then she kept pressuring me to let her off the hook because my mom demanded Carl make her work to pay for it. And whenever we're left on our own, she takes the money my mom and Carl leave us and orders food for herself and basically tells me to suck it up, even though the money is left for both of us. My mom and Carl know all this. My mom and I have talked about my feelings about Megan, but she still told me Megan had to come to my birthday weekend at a cabin with my friends and that she and Carl would supervise. She made me wait for the weekend after my birthday instead of the weekend of my birthday because Megan will be with her mom on my actual birthday and that weekend. She told me Megan is still my sister, which I argued with, and that I shouldn't exclude her from something like that. So I told my mom to call the whole thing off, and I told my friends there was a big change of plans and there's no cabin and we'll do something else. My mom told me not to throw a temper tantrum and to think about Megan's feelings, knowing I called it off because she was supposed to come. I told her I really don't care, and I don't want Megan there, and it will ruin the weekend if she is. Am I the a-hole? Nope, not the a-hole at all. Your mom keeps ignoring years of clear boundaries and lets Megan treat you like crap. This was your birthday, your friends, your time, and she tried to shove her in anyway. You were right to cancel it. You don't owe Megan anything, just because your mom married her dad. Exactly. Being forced to include someone who constantly disrespects you isn't family. It's punishment. Not the a-hole. Sounds like you've got quite a lot on your shoulders. Maybe you could try asking your grandma to speak to your mother about the Megan issue, because what she is doing to you is considered bullying, and there is no way you can be comfortable taking your bully to your birthday weekend trip. It's obviously not going to be enjoyable for yourself. My mom doesn't listen to others about this. She'll only get more stubborn, not less, if I have a grandparent or family member talk to her. Not the a-hole. This is how your mom ends up with no son at all after you turn 18. I wouldn't be surprised if Megan has feelings for you. Ew, I worry about that sometimes, or that she's just really trying to push her friend on me and will do something crazy. I lock myself in my room on nights she has her best friend stay over. Last story. Am I the a-hole for not allowing my mother-in-law access to my son anymore? My mother-in-law, 47 female, insisted she be in the delivery room with my husband, 24 male, and myself, 26 female. So we allowed her, since I don't have my own mom. Nothing went right during labor and birth. Nothing. She was one of the first people to see our son in the NICU, though. Fast forward to coming home, 7 days after having a C-section, losing over a liter of blood, and having to recover on my own since my husband had to go back to work, my mother-in-law came over to help me. She was quick to take photos and post them on Facebook saying, "Oh my God, she has a new grandson that shares a birthday with some old family member of hers." She made me do everything. She dropped a pacifier. I had to wash it and grab it from the floor. To be fair, she did change a diaper, but then walked away and left my son on his changing table. She's big into saying how much she loves him and whatnot, even posting photos of him with her declarations of love. She's the typical Facebook grandma who rarely sees the grandchild. But here's the catch. It's only with my son. She has 2 other grandchildren that she sees regularly. Now, 8 months have come and gone. She's seen my son a handful of times. Most were by pure coincidence from running into her in public. The last time she came over, she said that she didn't have the capacity to be a grandparent right now, but she was going to do better. My son doesn't know her. She just had the other 2 grandchildren over for a party, and where was our invite? My husband found out by chance since he was helping his brothers with something at their parents' house. She claimed she got sick and couldn't see him. The last time she was sick, it was like a play-by-play from the Mean Girls scene. Cough, cough, I'm sick. My husband and I are done. We're going to take our son to his first Canada Day parade tomorrow, and she's going to insist that we sit with her. But I don't want to. I won't. My husband and I have agreed we're not accepting invites from them anymore since we're replaceable. Our son doesn't need to know how much she doesn't actually care about him. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. You are a mother who is making a difficult but necessary choice to protect your son's emotional well-being. If your mother-in-law cared, she wouldn't make excuses. Not the a-hole at all. You're doing exactly what a good parent should, putting your child's emotional well-being first. Consistency matters, and if someone can't show up for your son, then he's better off without the confusion. Boundaries aren't cruel, they're love in action. Not the a-hole. It sounds like your mother-in-law might have some narcissistic tendencies, along with being extremely passive-aggressive in her dealings with your family. Boundaries would be a necessity, I think. Maybe even going no contact until you see some evidence of change. Whether she is actually capable of change, though, might be debatable. Your child is probably better off without a relationship with this particular grandma at this point in time. Do what you need to do to protect your family, OP. Blood doesn't always determine who makes good family. Oh, she's absolutely has narcissistic tendencies. She hasn't wished my husband a happy birthday in years, but heaven forbid we forget hers. Blood absolutely doesn't equal family. Our son has an amazing godfather and soon-to-be godmother, and her son. He's surrounded by love. Just unfortunately, it isn't from my husband's side. Have a relative like this, from the grandchildren perspective, thank you. There is no betrayal like thinking your grandparent is a lovely, wonderful person until you see them treat your family differently when you're grown.